Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time to
arrived.
demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. I hope you had a good weekend. Today is the 15th of September 2014. Our sun sign is in Virgo for one more week, and we could see down here next Monday on the 22nd, our sun sign changes into the next sign, which would be Libra. So we have one more week of Virgo, one more week with our sun sign as a conscious, our sun sign, our conscious mind in an earth sign, in the physical world, the practical world, dealing with our body, the physical things around us. Virgo is the hermit holding the lantern high for others to see. The unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, is in Gemini for today. Gemini is an air sign. It's all about the words, the actions that we express. Gemini is about communication, so our unconscious mind, the unconscious realm, is dealing with communication, whereas the conscious realm is about holding the lantern high for others to see, sharing the information. So this could be a good match here today because Gemini is associated with Virgo. In one hand, because they are both communicating, both putting out information. We had a sextile that took place 1:44 a.m. with Jupiter expanding things. 6:13 we had another sextile between Uranus, unexpected changes. 11:52 a.m. we have a trine between the sun sign Virgo and Mercury, so that's nice, good, positive energy amongst them. I would say good opportunity to use our words to help to heal. Something in that regard. We use our words to help make things better for ourselves, to create a nice physical world around us. And then our moon sign and our sun sign are going to be at square with each other, which means there's a lesson. This is later tonight, about 9:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that communication and that earthly physical lesson that we're teaching, they come at odds with each other later tonight. So we're just learning new ways in which we might communicate and share that information. Numerology, today's number 4 day. Here's how we arrived at number 4. We have the 9 plus the 1, 5 plus 2014. Altogether it adds up to a 22, and then that is reduced to a 4. Now, a lot of times with numerology, I like just to, if you get to a master number, 11, 22, 44, 33, whatever, keep it the same. And so this could be either 22 or a 4. Some people reduce it down there to get to the 1 number. Once you see that master number, I like to keep it the same. So either way, if we got a 22 or a 4, same idea. 22, the reason that's important is because there are 22 cards in the tarot, 22 major arcana. So it's a completion of a full cycle of all of those ideas of the archetypes. So it's a completion of a full cycle. 4 here is all about order. So putting things in order kind of has an idea similar to the idea of the ordering of the full realm of the major arcana. If we look at the tree of the life, obviously the 22 is encompassed here by these 22 paths, which are the 22 major arcana and the 22 names of God. And number 4 is right here. Virgo right down here. And Gemini over here. Alright, what we're going to take a look at today. Why don't today we take a look at Gemini, our moon sign. So let's look at Gemini, which we know by now is the lovers. So we have the two characters standing in front of the box. We have the male looking at the female looking up to the higher self, the angel. Waiting to see if this is going to pop up here. What's taking it so long? There we go. So we have the conscious mind looking to the unconscious mind, the unconscious mind looking up to the higher self. This key is all about discrimination. It's the keynote of the sixth key. Its symbolism gradually portrays sharp differences. The letter Zayin means sword, which is an instrument of cleavage. To this key also is attributed the disposing intelligence, and disposing means literally to pose apart or to separate. In addition to the zodiacal sign, Gemini is attributed to the key. Gemini means twins, and its sign is approximately 2. This gives the clue to the occult doctrine that all opposites are really but aspects of the one thing, and that they are complementary. The title The Lovers brings out this even more graphically. The sun is a symbol of enlightenment and also the one force which is differentiated into pairs of opposites. The angel represents superconsciousness, and the clouds indicate that this is partly hidden from us at our present stage of conscious unfoldment. The mountain symbolizes attainment. The man and the woman are Adam and Eve, are the prototypes of the specialization of the life force as male and female. The tree of 12 flames behind the man represents the signs of the zodiac, and that behind the woman the 5 senses. The latter carries the idea that discrimination between the opposites, because it bears the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. In addition, the 5 senses are instruments which enable us to discriminate between one thing and another, and the serpent represents the occult force known as Kundalini, and that moves on into key 8, which we know of through the card of strength. Alright, so we've gone over this card enough times that you should have a good understanding when you see this, what this represents and where its placement is. Okay, let's move on from there. The current moon phase, 3rd quarter, making our way down to a new moon. 54% of the way there. This week here, let's look at the sky, the 15th. Last quarter moon. The moon rises around at midnight tonight under the horn tips of Taurus. It stands high in the south over Orion by Tuesday's dawn. The Mayan Oracle, we are on the theme, same theme, the wave spell of the Skywalker, which is all about exploration. Today we're on the 9th day, which is called the Galactic Day, or the Galactic Tone of Integrity. So today would be the Galactic Sun, guided by the seed. The phrase for today is I harmonize in order to enlighten, modeling life. I seal the matrix of universal fire with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of flowering. Space weather is solar wind 438.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is quiet at a 1. M-class flare possibilities dropped way down now to 50%, and X-class down to 15%. And our geomagnetic storm activities dropped quite a bit. 40% in the high latitudes, only 30% in the mid latitudes. So things have subsided quite a bit from where they were over the weekend. We did get as high as a 7 in planetary K index over the course of the weekend. So things were quite hot and agitated. And here on the Jewish calendar, today is 20 Elul. 20 Elul, and on this day the daily thought is meditation through a sea of reeds. Take the world at face value and it won't let you move forward. You'll have to bridle every impulse, carefully balance every step, and even then, for every step forward you could fall back too. You'll have enslaved yourself within an Egypt of your own making. Here is your route of escape, the splitting of the sea. Meditate deeply upon the inner soul of the world. Struggle to see the vision described by your teachers. Part the murky waters of a coarse material world. Enter the reality that lies beneath it. Grasp that inner vision and it will flow outward through the heart to the conscious self, down to the heel that steps upon the earth, until all these as well become mind. Your eyes are now open, your heart is awake, your hands themselves know what to grab and what to avoid, and your feet know where to walk. In the struggle for deeper vision, life becomes effortless, and you are free. There you go. That's a very good one. And that gets us started for today. I'll be right back with UFO news. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, here I am. Alright, let's get to it today. Our first story is this report here. Report 170. Report UFO sighting 170. First sighting here takes us. Well, these are a whole compilation of sightings. We got one in Fairbanks, Alaska. This was on the 14th around 11 p.m. Looked like a flock of geese at first. It was clearly a solid metal thing. Sardinia, Italy, September 11th. Says I've been trying to contact a few sources, but really don't know who to reach footage. Was in Sardinia with a girlfriend at 1 p.m. I caught a UFO with one of my selfies while visiting some ancient ruins. Okay. And we have also September 11th in the Philippines, Noveleta, Cavite. Philippines, September 11th. We're looking at the night sky to see the stars. A bright, small red light suddenly appeared out of nowhere. At first I thought it was just a star, but realized why it was so red and slightly bigger compared to the stars around it. Then it began to move, slowly, still having rational thoughts that this was an airplane, and realized otherwise. Then we have Indian Head Campground, Catawassia, Pennsylvania, the 31st. Alright, so there you go. There's some more recent ones there. We have a mass UFO sighting over California, Oregon, Nevada on the 12th of September. In the early morning, the hours of September 12th, many people in California, Oregon, and Nevada all reported seeing highly unusual lights in the sky. All the eyewitness accounts are the same. A massive, intensely bright light was seen moving across the sky with a large comet-like tail behind it. Very interesting indeed. We have some video here. And this is the news clip, so I'm going to leave that for you to watch. FirstContactRadio.com is where you will find that info. Texas remains a UFO hotspot. On August 8th, 18th, 2014, an amazing lighted object was seen over San Antonio. Obviously, this was not an ordinary event in the sky, as it made rounds on the internet, with many suggesting it is out of the ordinary. The mysterious object was traveling at high speed into Randolph Air Force Base. The witness told the Mutual UFO Network that the strange aerial object was moving without a noise, and the light stayed after the object became out of sight. Sighting in San Antonio is one of 42 UFO sightings reported from Texas, second California when it comes to the number of reported sightings, with 99 reports. Texas also ranks second or third amongst the U.S. states when it comes to number of reported UFOs to MUFON. Alright. Moving from Texas, we go over to France. Multiple UFOs descend through Chemtrail in France. September 12th. I was on a yacht with a friend. We were sailing together, enjoying the beautiful sky in the Normandy. I was watching a huge chemtrail and some nice clouds while taking a sun bath when my attention got turned away by something else. I stopped watching the sky for some minutes. When I stared at the sky again, I slowly noticed some strange little dots of light near the huge chemtrail. As always, I got my iPhone in my pocket, so I immediately took it and recorded what I could. After checking my PC screen, I counted 7 white objects slowly descending inside the trail and also disappearing behind it. You can see them out there. Very faint. There's one right here, right in this area. When you enlarge the screen, you'll definitely see it much better. Okay, moving from France, we go over to the sun, the 14th. We have a huge cloaked UFO by the sun. There we go. 2 minutes and 23 seconds of video. Just says huge cloaked UFO by the sun on the 14th. That would just be yesterday. Alright, so we see a lot of things up by the sun, don't we? There we go. Is that our object right here? Okay, so first of all, that's a big object. Second, it's not something we normally see up by the sun. Very good capture. The link's available so you can check it out. See what you think. Think it's really an object by the sun, or is it just an anomaly on the screen? Very interesting indeed. Let's move on from here. Now we're going to go up to the space station. There's an object here. It just says NASA offers no explanation for the UFO filmed from the space station. And this isn't the first one we've seen, is it? Okay, let's see if we can find where it is. There we go. Right here. Okay, just zooming across. Of course, NASA doesn't want us to know, so. Oh well. I guess we found out. Okay, moving on from here. Also, the ISS life discovered 66 different kinds of microorganisms have been identified on board the International Space Station. Many of them are harmless, but some have been shown to be mutated or perfectly capable of causing serious damage. Marine plankton has been identified on the ISS, and its origins are still unknown. Well, here's actually 76 different kinds of microorganisms. Excuse me. So here we have Jaime Maussan talking about this. What was going on? It's a 4-minute video. Links available so you can check it out. It says there's little doubt in my mind that in this generation or two people refer to someone in a derogatory manner by saying, yeah, you probably still think that we do the only thing in the universe. Microbial life and intelligent life will eventually be found in abundance. Alright, let's move from here over Contra Costa County, California. Contra Costa, California. Others, KTVU and other stations in Sacramento received multiple calls about bright lights streaming across the sky around 6 a.m. Here's what they saw. They checked in with Vandenberg Air Force Base and FAA, who both said they weren't aware of what may have caused the bright light. There's a strong solar storm expected to hit Earth. Okay, that already came. Alright, very good. Moving on. This one is over Normandy, France. Well, I already caught this one, so we're going to skip that one. Just to repeat. Mystery and the Beauty of Crop Circles. Good article here and a good video that goes along with it. It talks a little bit about these. Again, we have Jaime Maussan and talking about the crop circles and their various properties that are shown with these crop circles, because it's not just normal. You know, they say that there's these the drunk guys, Bob and Doug, is that their name, that go out and they make these aren't made by Bob and Doug. The examples that they show, the crops are folded over in a way that is very specific. Sometimes there's energetic signature that are picked up in those areas, electromagnetic frequencies, things that two drunk guys didn't do. So that's the beauty, as it says, of crop circles. They're mysterious and they're beautiful. And we're moving on. And this is about a documentary life of Britain's top UFO hunter to appear in a new documentary film. Anyone with UFO encounter living in Bridleton area is encouraged by a UFO investigator to appear in a new documentary. Widely known as one of the premier UFO investigators in Britain, Russ Kellett of Philly wants to have conversations to anyone who had a real encounter of the third kind. He is known for his various appearances in both national and international media sharing his encounters of the third kind. Kellett believes that this part of England is one of the favorite places of UFOs, and he has seen unbelievable things, and many people from the Bridleton area have told him of their strange sightings. All right, very good. And that is our UFO news report for today. I'll be back and we shall continue on with our study of Kaballah. I'll be back.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit get us in the mood, ready to continue on with our study of the Tree of Life. So this is the Tree of Life right here. And over the course of these last several weeks, we have been studying what this is all about. We've been looking at these Sephira, the paths, and understanding what this is all about. All right, so there's a lot that can be learned from this tree. Let me just bring this up here. This is just what we've been doing class-wise or course-wise. Today we're going to look at the Mystical Kabbalah, Chapter 12. I still have linked up here the Sefer Yetzirah and the Kaballah, even though we've gone through these books, because they are very important to the study. Therefore, they are available so you can go through, read, refresh yourself on what this information is all about. Okay, so let's start off looking at the Tree of Life here. And let's work to do the pattern on the Trestleboard. Okay, pattern on the Trestleboard. So, first one right here. 0. Dealing with everything here, not any energy, all the energy behind it. All the power that ever was or will be is here now. 1. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. 2. Through me, its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word. 3. Filled with understanding of its perfect law, I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. 4. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. 5. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. 6. Living in all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. 7. Living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. 8. I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. 9. In thought and word and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being. And 10. The kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh. If you, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, if you just do nothing else but take these 11 phrases, these pattern on the Trestleboard, and you recite these on a regular basis, once a day, and you look at these, and you look at the tree, and just by reciting these and understanding more and more about what each one of these particular Sephira and these numbers are about, you will have learned a lot right there, because you're understanding numerology, you're understanding the ideas of the placement of these classrooms. Very important lessons, because you're learning all of these things here. Okay, so this is all the pattern Trestleboard. First one, this is about wisdom, understanding, and all of these things are implied there. The first one, I'm a center of expression. Okay, which is 1. Through second one, wisdom. Third one, understanding. Right here we have 4, which is the exhaustless witches. This is the Jupiter energy, expanding things. 5, the undeviating justice with the severity that comes with it. We have 6, the beauty. Here we have the victory. 8, we have the eternal splendor right here. Mind, the foundation right here in the physical world. So just going over these, you're going to learn quite a bit. Okay? Then of course we have the Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Formation. We've gone through this. This is very important, so keep yourself updated on what this is all about. Okay. And we're going to jump over to the Mystical Kabbalah. We're going to jump into the next chapter, which is chapter 12. Now, I know this is a lot of information. I know that you might not get it all when you look at it the first time, and that's okay, because this is the type of science and learning that you don't have to get it all. every time as you make a pass of that information, you'll get a little bit more. And because this is the kind of information that's like a seed, once you get a little bit of this information, that seed will be planted in your mind, in your consciousness, and your subconscious, and you'll be able to contemplate what it's about. And that in itself will lead to dreams and meditations and other times when you're getting this information as well. So you are learning more than you realize. Chapter 12, the gods upon the tree. Now, in each one of these, remember we talked about there's the four worlds. We've got the four worlds, the fire, the water, the air, and the earth, and they play themselves over and over in a variety of themes. So one of the themes here is we have four different worlds: the world of fire, the world of water, world of air, and the world of earth. Those four worlds are each superimposed here. In each of the different areas, there's a different representation. So in the first area, the area of fire, or also known as Atsula, we have the realm of the gods, deities. So we're going to see different names of different deities within this particular area. Let me go on to explain further. It says all the students of comparative religion and its poor relation folklore are agreed that primitive man, observing and beginning to analyze the natural phenomena surrounding him, attributed to them the agency of beings akin to himself in nature and type, but transcending him in power. As he could not see them, he unnaturally called them invisible. And as he could not see his own mind during life or his friend's soul after death, he concluded that the beings that produced natural phenomena were the same nature as the invisible but active mind and soul. Now all of this sounds very crude, as it is put by the anthropologists, but it is only because when translating savage ideas, they choose words that have crude associations. For instance, the standard translation of one of the chief scriptures of China refers to the venerable philosopher Lao Tse as the old boy. This sounds comical to European ears, yet it is not so far removed from the words of another scripture which has been fortunate enough to receive translation at the hands of those who've reverenced it. Except ye become as a little child. I am not a sinologue, but I incline to the opinion that the translation eternal child would have been equally accurate and that better taste. There is a saying in the mysteries, see that ye blaspheme not the name by which another knoweth his God, for if ye do this in Allah, you will do it in Adonai. So basically what it's saying is don't blaspheme any of the names of any of the deities, because if you're so willing to do it with one, you're probably willing to do it with others, and all this leads us to a whole lot of disrespect for energies that are out there that are more than what we realize. So we should just be respectful of all of these energies. And after all, was primitive man so very far off the mark when he attributed the causation of natural phenomena to activities of the same nature as the thought processes of the human mind, but upon a higher arc? Is not that point towards which both the physics and the metaphysics are gradually converging? Supposing we were to recast the statement of the savage philosopher and say the essential nature of man is similar in type to that of his creator, would we be held to have said anything either blasphemous or ridiculous? We may personalize national forces in terms of human consciousness, or we may abstract human consciousness in terms of natural forces. Both are legitimate proceedings in occult metaphysics, and the process yields some very interesting clues and some very important physical applications. We must not, however, make the mistake of the ignorant and say A is B when we mean A is of the same nature as B. But equally, we may be legitimately avail ourselves of the Hermetic axiom as above so below, because if A and B are of the same nature, the laws governing A can be predicted concerning B. What is true of the drop of the true is true of the ocean. Consequently, if we know anything of that concerning the nature of A, we may conclude that allowing for the difference in scale, it will also apply to B. This is the method of analogy used in the inductive science of the ancients, and provided it is counter-checked by observation and experiment, it can yield some very fruitful results and cut out many leagues of weary wanderings in the dark. The personification and the deification of the natural forces was man's first crude and shrewd attempt to evolve a monastic theory of the universe and save himself from the destructive and crippling influence of an unresolved dualism. As age by age extended his knowledge and elaborated his intellectual process, he read more and more significance into the first simple classifications. Nevertheless, he did not discard his original classifications because they were fundamentally sound and represented actualities. He simply elaborated and extended them, and finally, when he fell out on evil times, overlaid them with superstition. We should not therefore regard the pagan pantheons as so many aberrations of the human mind, nor should we try to understand them from the viewpoint of the uninstructed or uninitiated. We should try to find out what they must have meant to the highly intelligent and cultured priests and the cults of their heyday. Compare Madam David Neal and W.B. Seabrook on the subject of heathen rites with the reports of the average missionary. Seabrook shows us the spiritual significance of voodoo, and Mimi David Neal shows us the metaphysical aspect of Tibetan magic. These things appear in one way to be sympathetic to the sympathetic observer who wins the confidence of the exponents of these systems and succeeds in being received into their holy of holies as a friend, and who goes to learn instead of merely to observe and ridicule. In another way, to the beef-fed zealot who walks into the holy place in his dirty boots and gets stoned by the indignant worshippers. In judging these things, let us consider the form Christianity would present if approached in the same way. Unsympathetic observers would probably conclude that we worshipped a sheep and that the Holy Ghost would yield some particular interpretations. Let us credit other people with using metaphors if we do not expect to be taken literally ourselves. The outer form of the ancient pagan faiths is no cruder than Christianity in backwards Latin countries, where Jesus Christ is represented in topper and tails and the Virgin Mary in laced-edged pantaloons. The inner form of the ancient faiths can compare very favorably with the best of our modern metaphysicians. After all, they produced Plato and Plotinus. The human mind does not change, and what is true of ourselves is probably true of the pagans. The Lamb of God, which take away the sins of the world, is only another version of the Bull of Mithra, which does the same thing, and the only difference being that the ancient initiate was literally washed in blood, and the modern one takes it metaphorically. Autoris temptus, autoris mors. If we approach those whom we elect to call pagans, both ancients and modern, in a reverent and sympathetic spirit, knowing that Allah and Brahma and Amun-Ra are but other names for which we worship as God, we shall learn a very great deal that was forgotten in Europe when the Gnosis was stamped out and its literature destroyed. We shall find, however, that the pagan faiths represent their teaching in a form that is not readily assimilable to the European mind, and that if we are to arrive at its significance, we must restate in our own terms. We must correlate the metaphysical concept with the pagan symbol. Then we shall be able to apply to the form of the vast mass of mystical experience which generations of contemplatives and experimental psychologists have organized about the latter. And when we speak of experimental psychologists, we must not make the mistake of thinking that they are an exclusively modern product, because the priests of the ancient mysteries, with their temple sleep and deliberately induced hypnotic visions, were nothing more or less than experimental psychologists, though their art has been lost like many other ancient arts and is only being laboriously recovered piecemeal in the more advanced circles of scientific thought. The method used by initiate for interpreting the language spoken by the ancient myths is a very simple and effectual one. He finds in the Kabbalistic tree of life a link between the highly stylistic pagan systems and his own more rational methods. The Jew, ascetic by blood and monotheistic by religion, has a foot in both worlds upon the tree of life with his 10 holy sephira. The modern occultist uses both a metaphysic and a magic. He uses a philosophical conception of the tree to interpret what it will represent to his conscious mind, and he uses a magical and ceremonial application of its symbolism to link up with the subconscious mind. The initiate consequently makes the best of both worlds, ancient and modern, for the modern world is all surface consciousness and has forgotten and represented the subconsciousness to its own great hurt, and the ancient world was mainly subconsciousness, consciousness having been but recently evolved. When the two are lined up and brought into the polarized function, they yield superconsciousness, which is the goal of the initiate. Holding the foregoing conceptions in mind, let us now try to coordinate the ancient pantheons with the spheres on the tree of life. There are 10 spheres, the 10 holy sephira, and between them we must distribute, according to type, the different gods and goddesses of whatever pantheon we wish to study. We're then in a position to interpret their significance in light of what we already know concerning the principles represented by the tree, and to our knowledge of the tree that is available concerning the significance of the ancient deities. This is obviously of great intellectual value, but there is another value which does not so readily appear to the average man who has no experience of mystery workings. The performance of a ceremonial rite, symbolically representing the workings of the force personified as a god, has a very marked and even drastic effect on the subconscious mind of any person who is at all susceptible to psychic influences. The ancients had brought these rites to the very high pitch of perfection, and we moderns are trying to reconstruct the lost art of practical magic. We can go to them with great profit. The whole philosophy of European magic is based upon the tree, and no one can hope to understand it or to use it intelligently who has not been trained in the Kabbalistic methods. It is this lack of training which makes popular occultism so very apt to degenerate into the crudest superstitions. Your number in your name becomes a different thing when we understand the mathematical Kaballah. Fortunes and teacups are another matter when we understand the significance of the magical images and the method of their formulation and interpretation as a psychological device for penetrating the veil of the unconscious. Broadly speaking, then, we sort out the gods and the goddesses of all the pagan pantheons into 10 pigeonholes of the 10 holy sephira, relying chiefly upon their astrological associations to guide us, because astrology is the one universal language for all people see the same planets. Space is referred to Kathar, the zodiac to Chokmah, the 7 planets to the next Sephira, the earth to Malkuth. Consequently, any god who has an analogy with Saturn will be referred to Bina, and any goddess who might be termed the primordial mother, the superior Eve, as distinguished from the inferior Eve, the bride of the micropropos, Malkuth. The supernal triangle of Kether, Chokmah, and Bina always refers to the old gods, which every pantheon recognizes as the predecessors of those forms of godhead worshipped by the current faith. Thus, Rhea and Kronos would be referred to as Bina and Chokmah, and Jupiter to Hesed, and the corn goddess refers to Malkuth, and the lunar goddess to Yesod. The war gods and the destructive gods or the defined devils referred to Kobora, and the goddesses of love to Netzach. The initiator gods of wisdom are referred to Hod, and the sacrifice gods and redeemers to Tubareth. So great an authority as Richard Payne Knight in his valuable book, The Symbolic Language of the Ancient Art and Mythology, speaks of the remarkable occurrence of the allegories, symbols, and the titles of ancient mythology in favor of the mystic systems of emanations. With this clue we sort out the pantheons, thus enabling ourselves to compare like with like and make the one illuminate the other. In the system he gives this book, the correspondences 777, Crowley assigns the gods to the paths as well as to the sephira. This, in my opinion, is a mistake and leads to confusion. It is the sephira alone that represent natural forces, and the paths are states of consciousness. The sephira are objectives, the paths are subjective. It is for this reason that the working glyphs of the tree used by initiates, the sephira, are always represented in the one color scale and the paths in another. Those who possess this glyph will know to what I refer. The paths themselves, in my opinion, should be regarded as under the direct presidency of the holy names, governing their sephirotic attributions only, and should not be confused with other pantheons. For although we may go to other systems for intellectual enlightenment, we are unwise to attempt to mix the methods of practical workings and unfoldment of consciousness. For instance, the 17th path between Taparath and Binab is assigned by Sefer Yetzirah to the element of air. We are far wiser to work with the right of the element of air and the holy names assigned thereto, and to approach it through the appropriate tabata, rather than to confuse with the issue of the associations of the assorted collection of deities, Castor and Pollux, Janus, Apollo, Meriti, and other incompatibles assigned to it by Crowley, whose correspondences present an inextricable tangle of associations. The Sephira should be interpreted macrocosmically, and the paths microcosmically. Thus we shall find their clue to the tree in both man and nature. So these two terms here, micro and macrocosmically, just mean a bigger and smaller version of something else. Okay, so the paths are interpreted of macro as a bigger version of something, of the Sephira, and the paths micro as a smaller version of the cosmos. Okay, so what it's talking here is that it's important to look at the associations, as it says. We want to understand each of these paths and the Sephira in the easiest, simplest way. We don't want to overcomplicate them. Yes, all of the Sephira have assigned to them the different names of the different deities and gods that we've heard about throughout time. Of course, the one main true God is the all end all. We look, go to the 10 Commandments. There shall be no other God before me. That all applies, because all the other names and the deities, they all fall elsewhere upon the tree underneath and below the importance of the number one main God that is the great creator of all things. Okay, so what this is saying is we don't want to get caught up in all of the deities. We want to just understand the significance of the elements. That is very important. We want to understand, and we can learn through what those elements are of those different Sephira, how those different deities work, what they represent, but we don't want to get it backwards. We want to start off with the energies, the elements, and then we want to work out to how those beings fit in with that, as opposed to vice versa. Okay? At least that's how I understand it in the way that I've been looking at it. There you have it. And I also have up here a link to the Kaballah, so you can go ahead and pull this down. It's a PDF, so you can continue your study on your own with that. Read it as you will. And that brings us to our article today from In 5D. This is the Schumann resonance and the time speeding up phenomena. Time is actually speeding up or collapsing. For thousands of years, the Schumann resonance or pulse, the heartbeat of the Earth, has been 7.83 cycles per second. The military have used this as a very reliable reference. However, since 1980, the resonance has been slowly rising. Some scientists believe that it is rising faster than we can measure, seeing it as it constantly rising while measuring. This is from a member of the Physics Forum. The universe is expanding. Interstellar distances are becoming greater and greater. How does the relationship between space-time and the speed of light compensate for this? Changes in interstellar distances are measurable. The speed of light is constant and measurable. But what about time itself? Can changes to time be measured? Or is that a paradox within itself? How can we measure a potential change in time itself if it is changing while we are trying to measure it? For example, hypothetically speaking, if you are trying to measure how much a yardstick is decreasing in length against a second yardstick that is also decreasing in length at the same rate as the first one, and if everything else around you, including yourself, was shrinking at the same rate, then you would never confirm that such a change actually did occur. So if we look at the relationship between space-time and the speed of light, if space is measurably expanding and the speed of light is still constant, can time be speeding up? No wonder they say the older you get, the faster time goes by. If they only knew. Humanity continually strives to make its vehicles, technologies, and processes faster, yet we never seem to have enough time, or we wish we had more. Doesn't that seem to make you wonder? More and more frequently people are suggesting that time is speeding up. We hear people say things like, I've never seemed to have enough time to get things done, or where is the time gone? The years are certainly flying by faster than ever, and there is a scientific reason why time is speeding up. There is also a number of reasons why we are changing so rapidly, and is all related to time speeding up. Human beings are becoming consciously aware, and people are being drawn towards spirituality and personal development in greater numbers than ever before. Why is this happening? Well, scientists discovered many years ago that the Earth gives off a pulse. The pulse, or the frequency, which has been likened to a heartbeat, has been stable at approximately 7.8 cycles per second for thousands of years. However, since the year 1980, the Earth's heartbeat began to speed up. The most incredible thing is some scientists believe the Earth will actually stop rotating when the pulse reaches 13 cycles per second. When the Earth stops rotating on its axis, it is believed that it will remain to be still for around 3 days, and then start spinning in the other direction. This will cause a reversal in the magnetic field around the Earth, but what will happen after this point is unclear. As this point, you are thinking one of two things. Either you are thinking this sounds pretty amazing, or you simply cannot believe it. I'm kind of in the middle myself. I think it's hard to believe, but I'm pressed to keep my mind open. Since I've become interested in spirituality, I've seen wonderful things in my life happen, and because of this, I believe almost anything is possible. It is due to the increasing pulse rate that we feel as though time is speeding up. Why do we feel as though time is moving faster than it used to be? The reason is that once we perceived to be a period of 24 hours now feels like only 16, our clocks still move in seconds, minutes, and hours, and still click over a full day in 24 hours, but due to the Earth's increased heartbeat, we perceive it to only be 2/3 as long, or perceive the period as being merely 16 hours. Alright, there's a lot more to this article here. Gets into, it says Greg Braden is currently training around the United States in the media, telling the scientific proof of the Earth passing through the photon belt and the slowing of the Earth's rotation. At the same time, there's an increase in the resonant frequency of the Earth. When the Earth stops its rotation and the frequency reaches 13, the Earth might stop. And this is something that the Bible talks about. 3 days where the Earth stops and moves the other way. So, are we seeing the changes? Are we recording what is about to happen and understanding? Says a friend of mine gave me a great idea to do while meditating. Envision you are hugging the entire planet. Send Mother Earth as much love as humanly possible, and that you will make that connection. Alright, so very interesting indeed. Time is speeding up. So we know the heartbeat of the Earth is speeding up. It's real easy to get caught up in the speeded upness that is taking place around us. Sometimes we want to move with the speed that's moving. Sometimes I think it's important that what we need to do is, in the midst of it, is to find a way to slow down. Or let's say not slow down. Let's imagine ourselves being on a surfboard in the midst of it. So we're riding the waves. So as it goes faster, it's okay. We're still in our place of balance. Because just because everything around us goes faster doesn't mean we have to go faster and faster. We can find our way within that, or find our balance within the energy. And that's what it's all about. That's why it's moving and increasing slowly. So we have an opportunity to adapt to the changes that are taking place. Alright, let's get to our channeled message for today. This is from Hilarion.
Hilarion.
September the 14th through the 21st, 2014, by Marlene Swetleshoff.
Hilarion.
Beloved ones, it is time to divorce yourselves from the endless distractions that present themselves in relentless attempts to take you from your inner core of knowing. Look instead to the heavens and to the alignments that are taking place in the cosmos. This is, indeed, big news and important for you to take note of as you go about your daily activities and duties upon the planet. There is much that is now available to be discerned and rediscovered. As the Earth moves more into a spherical time belt, it brings into focus many ancient remembrances and knowledge. These are ready to be reintroduced into the evolving civilization that you are a part of. Get centered within and see if you are ready to bring them forth. The atmosphere of Earth has been seeded with new knowledge that is just waiting to be brought into focus by ones such as you, pulling knowledge from the past that only needs to be updated to be of great use in this time of now. The world is ready to embrace more knowledge and new methods that are aligned with and in harmony with Source in a way that leaves no footprints upon your planet and harms no one and no thing upon it. It is a potential that is now ready to be manifested into your new reality. We are calling forth those ones who volunteered to bring these forward in order to assist during these times. Deep within you, you have this knowing, and this call from the higher dimensions will activate that knowing. We anticipate that many will answer this call and will put the betterment of their planet and its kingdoms as their main priority, instead of involving themselves in the endless quest for personal gain and power, for this former concept is now becoming a pile of ashes. You come from places in the universe where the highest and greatest good of all is foremost in the collective and cooperative consciousness, and where all have everything they need as and when they need it. You carry the templates of these within yourselves and are now ready to anchor them into your current reality. Some of you may be surprised by the knowledge that surges through you, for it will be in an area that was not looked at before with any great seriousness, but if you examine your past, you will see that the potential was there, simmering in the background of your lives. Let it flow through you and trust the process, in whatever it comes through. Realize that each of you is here at this time to add your unique and valuable gifts to your emerging new society, in whatever form they take. It just requires your belief and confidence in yourselves. The abundance of the universe is flowing into each life, and many doors are opening that hitherto were closed to them. In order to receive this abundance, you must open yourselves to receive it, and this is done through daily stillness and inner silence. This abundance we speak of comes on wings of love in the form of creative ideas that must be acted upon, for action is necessary in order for the manifestation of any idea to come into fruition. With this said, it is incumbent upon each of you to seriously keep a daily journal of all the ideas and thoughts that come to you during each day. Keeping careful track of the times and dates is important also, which could be helpful to you at a later time. Your God-sanctioned guides are working with you now to awaken those aspects of your authentic being by impressing words, thoughts, and images into your mind. These are intended to help you and to give clues and hints to guide you on your path. Some of the promptings you receive may seem impossible to implement in your current situation, but if you record these carefully in your daily journal, you will have a record that will remind you later when the time for these to manifest is upon you. We, your guides, strive to work with you to further your spiritual progress, and also are able help in whatever situations you are currently trying to cope with by helping you to see alternate solutions or by planting new ideas and perspectives into your consciousness so that you are enabled to make your life work. We cannot do your spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical work for you, for that is solely your responsibility and is the domain of your own soul guidance, but we can and do very often uplift and inspire and empower you to see your way through the challenges that befall you by being incarnate upon this planet. During your times of stillness and silence, talk to us and ask for our assistance with your daily life, for without your conscious request, we cannot be of assistance, for we must adhere to the universal law of non-interference with your God-given free will choice. We are here and we are ready. Until next week. I am Hyla Ryan.
Alright, another good message from Hyla Ryan. Hilarion. Alright, that brings us to our meditation for today. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. And keep breathing in and out slowly. Contemplate the words of this affirmation. I love myself for who I am, not for what you would like me to be. And just hold those thoughts in your mind and understand that who you are is very important, and who you know yourself to be as a child of God is very important. And sometimes what others think about who and what we are gets in the way, because there are often judgments that are in place. So let's learn just to move past that and only focus on what it is we need to make the changes for ourselves. So imagine ourselves looking deep into our being, into our subconscious, to find the answers we are looking for. Let's look deep into our subconscious to begin to understand the path that we are walking upon and the direction in which we move. Let's imagine our guides being there helping us. First we ask for their assistance, and then they are there helping, making sure we understand what it is that we are trying to accomplish and how to get to that place. And let's just imagine last hugging the planet. Like we're each giving the planet a big hug and sending love to the planet and letting that love reverberate down into the very core of Mother Earth and then reverberate back out to each and every being upon the planet. Let's imagine walking through the world today with love, just sending out love wherever we go. Let the subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue on. Tomorrow is Book of Enoch. Continuing on with that line of thinking and study. Until then, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other. And we'll reconvene tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.